Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I am really excited to do a Friday flip through for you guys today. It's been a while since I've done a Friday flip through, so I couldn't think of a better curriculum to show you and to flip through for you guys than the new 5 in a Row Volume 5 book. So 5 in a Row Volume 5 could not come at a better time for my family because this is the perfect book for my oldest son, and the timing could not be more perfect. I'm very enthusiastic about this release. So I'm going to give you a little overview of what the Volume 5 book is, and then I will flip you through a couple of the units and show you in depth some of the planning and some of the topics covered, as well as just give you an overview of the book itself as well. So 5 in a Row Volume 5 is unique to the 5 in a Row curriculum. It kind of bridges volumes 1 through 4 with the Beyond 5 in a Row program. It works as a transition piece between the two, and I think it's done so well. It is something that, like I said, could not come at a better time for my oldest son, who is going to be starting middle school next year. He is 10 right now, he's almost 11. So he's gonna be a young middle schooler, but he's ready for middle school, you know, socially, like with youth group and all of that. So this is just going to be the perfect program to help him bridge that gap and gain a little bit of independence while still using something familiar, which is 5 in a Row that we've used for our kids' entire lives in elementary school. So 5 in a Row Volumes 1 through 4 are 1-week units based on picture books. They cover topics like science and geography and art and language arts. And then the Beyond 5 in a Row program, that is for ages, I think it's 10 through 12 typically, and those are 6 to 8 week units, I believe. We've actually never used it, which we probably will be using that with my son. And those go through chapter books. So 5 in a Row Volume 5 bridges the two programs in a sense, and it takes some picture books from some of the original 5 in a Row Volume 4 and extends those 1-week units to being 2-week in-depth units covering even more topics. And then it takes 2 of the chapter books from the Beyond 5 in a Row book, Volume 1, I believe, and creates units on those as well. And so I'll actually read off the back of this book here so that I can tell you the exact subjects that are in it. Volume 5, the picture book units cover the same subject areas as Volumes 1 through 4 and are designed to be rowed for 2 weeks each. So it kind of prepares them for lengthier rows and unit studies. Lessons include discussion guide and questions, teacher answers, hands-on activities, and suggestions for further study. The chapter book units smoothly transition you and your student to upcoming 5 in a Row volumes with complete studies based on 2 classic chapter books. Subject areas include social studies, history, geography, and career paths, science, language arts, including writing and discussion questions and vocabulary, fine arts, and life skills. So I'm really excited to use this with him. I think he's going to love it. I love that it's more in depth. I love that it's 2 weeks. Now, it is already common for us to take a 1-week unit from 5 in a Row and extend it because we will just fall in love with a topic or an idea and the kids will be interested and their interest will take off. So I can't imagine how much more in depth the 2-week units are going to be and how we're going to utilize that. I think this is just going to be really exciting, and especially the book selections that are in this book are going to be wonderful for my son specifically. So enough about us personally and why we are excited to use this. I'm gonna go ahead and give you a flip through, let you guys see inside the books. I'm gonna give you an in-depth flip through of 2 of the books themselves, 2 of the units themselves, and then also a full overview of all of the different components of this Volume 5 book as a whole. So let's go ahead and get started. Okay, so here is 5 in a Row Volume 5. In the beginning here we have an introduction, a selection on what's different about Volume 5, how to use 5 in a Row, including tips and advice for picture book and chapter book studies, how to use the picture book units, how to use the chapter book units. We've got all of the actual lessons here. So the unit studies are the Boxcar Children. Looks like there's about 66 pages of lessons for that book, for those books. The Raft, Snowflake Bentley, Betsy Ross, designer of our flag, which I'm really excited about that one. I looked at some of the science experiments and that one looks like so much fun. The Gully Washer and Minette's Feast. Then there's bonus unit studies, Angelo, Paper Lanterns, The Bravest of Us All, and The Hatmaker's Sign. We've got the story discs and reproducible blank discs down here. Sample lesson planning sheets, which I will show you. Blank lesson planning sheets that are reproducible. Chapter book sample lesson planning sheets and blank chapter book lesson planning sheets, also reproducible. A literary glossary, dictionary of art terms, perspective, principles of drawing for depth, finding the books, parts of a flag. So these would go with these are some resources for some of the unit studies, an index, supplemental book list, and scope of topics for the chapter books. So here's the introduction. Here's some advice on how to use 5 in a row, how to use the picture book units and the chapter book units. Tips for a resistant student. And then you get into the units themselves. So I'm going to go to chapter 2 here and give you an overview of what is available for the Boxcar Children. Where's chapter 2? Let's see. Oh, I passed it. Okay, here we go. Chapter 2, Night is Turned into Day. So you've got a teacher's summary here. Then what we will cover in this chapter. So social studies, history, the Dust Bowl, which is part of the science lesson on drought. Science options are the human body and sleep, water cycle and drought, water, a rare and valuable resource, inventions and discoveries. For language arts, there is writing and discussion questions, vocabulary, and fine arts is functional design. So here's the human body and sleep here. Here's the water cycle and drought. Here's water, a rare and valuable resource. Inventions and discoveries. So here is an example. On page 18, Violet spies a large haystack. The children decide to use it for a bed. Ask your student if she thinks a haystack would be comfortable. It seems like an itchy choice, doesn't it? Take this opportunity to discuss the changes in farm work over the years. A lot of inventions and discoveries have helped farmers get better crops with less work. The change in haystacks is just one example. The Boxcar Children was written in 1942. On farms today, you won't see haystacks anymore. Instead of mounds of hay loosely piled up, you'll see hay bales. If you live on or near a farm, take some time and go look at the hay bales. Ask your student if she thinks it'd be easy to pull out a sleeping nest. Probably not. Then it goes on to talk about balers. Let's see, transportation, inventions, agricultural inventions and discoveries, dairy milking machines, combines, tractors, threshing machines, silos, grain augers, plows, discs, planters, airplane crop dusters. The list is long. A student might like to select one particular invention and research its history, development, and impact on agriculture. She could write a paper detailing her research findings, draw diagrams of how the equipment operates, or even build a static or working model. Field trip opportunity, etc. So then language arts, writing and discussion question. In this chapter on page 22, the baker's wife admits she does not like children. Some people do not like dogs. If you ask them why, they usually have a particular reason. Why do you think the baker and his wife disliked children? Then there's some vocabulary here. Fine arts is functional design. So they find a drinking fountain on page 24. In the story, Henry says, "Oh, what a fine fountain this is. See the place for people to drink up high and a place in the middle for horses and one for the dogs down below. What an interesting idea." Have your student design a fountain that could accommodate people, horses, and dogs. It could be futuristic or practical. She could draw, paint, build, or sculpt a model of her creation. If the model is a 3-dimensional and waterproof, your student could even pour water and demonstrate how it works. Some are drinking fountains, others are just to look at. Does your city have any decorative fountains? And so it goes into that. take some time to enjoy some fountains. They might get some ideas for designing their own fountain. And then it goes into chapter 3 here. So that is kind of just a peek into one of the chapters of one of the chapter books that they'll be reading in this. And then I wanted to, oh yeah, and there's always a bunch of resources in here as well. So here's like the water cycle resource for chapter 2. It looks like they have nutrition facts for chapter 6, animal classification for chapter 7. So just getting a peek at like what some of the science units are just from this one book goes to show how in depth this book goes. Okay, then I want to show you guys, ooh, maybe I will show you just a peek at one of the Betsy Ross, designer of our flag, experiments. It just looked like a lot of fun. The rust prevention experiment. How neat does that look? I know he's gonna love this when we get to it. So there's like the sheet that you need for that. Okay, now I'm going to find, I wanted to do, you know what, it might be back here. I apologize. I wanted to do, here it is. Because this goes right along with what we're doing right now with another 5 in a row unit, Snowflake Bentley. So this one is a picture book unit. And right now in our 5 in a row, I think it's volume 3, we're doing the salamander room. So we are going through the butterfly life cycle for that. My kids are having a blast with it. And I saw that butterflies come up again in Snowflake Bentley. So for social studies, you've got geography, Vermont. You have education at home, character traits of persistence, motivations for persistence. Language arts, you have margin notes. You could do biographies. You could talk about sayings, story beginnings. So this really goes very in depth. Vocabulary down here, the Caldecott, did I say that right? Yeah, medal, artist award for art. That's exciting. He's gonna love that. Woodcut art, I noticed right away. He is definitely going to want to pursue that. Photography, negative space, snowflake crafts. So a lot of different options you could choose for your 2 weeks here for art. So some math options that you have here for this book are counting by sixes or the joy of multiplication. We may be addressing that. Geometry, you can do hexagons. You can do making a gauge to register snowfall and rain in graphing the results. So some graphing there. Then you get into the science topic. So science, butterflies, topics for a butterfly study, life cycle of a butterfly, difference between a butterfly and a moth. There's a teacher note down here. Let's see, butterflies and skippers, collections, butterfly scales, camouflage, mimicry, and other safeguards. So this goes so much more in depth than just the volumes 1 through 4, which I feel like are a great starting point, but then to take, like I'm saying, like our butterfly life cycle study that we're doing right now for the salamander room, and to know that next year we can do the same butterfly study, but we can go this in depth is going to be really, really great, because we'll likely be doing this again next year because it's such a hit for my other kids. So maybe we'll be doing salamander room again next year for my kindergartner, and also be able to kind of combine it with this study for my son. We have finding books on butterflies, classification in the animal kingdom, microscope, crystals, botany, the world of flower and fruit, biology, we've got grasshoppers, tons of vocabulary there, weather and snow and sports. So that is just an overview of the Snowflake Bentley unit. And then here again is the lesson planning page that you can write your notes in, and then some resources for it. And then it moves on to the next book. So after you get past all of the books, units, and resources for each book there, you get back here to the story discs, which are what you place on a map to track where you've been and what you've studied. And then you have some sample lesson planning sheets. So this is, oh, perfect, Snowflake Bentley. So this is a sample lesson planning sheet for week 1, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. They've got social studies, language arts, and art, week 1. Week 2, they've got art, math, and then 3 days of science down there, but you can do it however you want. As you can see, there is the reproducible copy for you. And then here is week 1 for the boxcar children sample lesson planning sheet. So this is reading chapter 1, social studies and language arts. Reading chapter 2, you've got science and language arts. Week 2, you've got fine arts. Then you're reading chapter 3, you're doing social studies, history, and geography, but then also, again, your own pages here, and then a bunch of resources in the back as well. So I hope that this flip through was helpful. I'm really excited. The more I look at this book, the more excited I get about using this next year. Thank you so much, 5 in a Row, for sending me this new volume 5 book. I am really excited about it, if you guys couldn't tell already. I hope you guys are excited about it as well. And if you have any other questions about other 5 in a Row volumes, I have quite a few flip throughs, sample lessons, and just chats about 5 in a Row here on my channel. So I will link those up here and put them in the description box down below. Bye guys.